So we didn't sleep.
Our first kiss was terrible. Are we really gonna share this with the internet? Are we really putting this out there? I think we all know why we've gathered here today, and that is to talk about
Our first time.
As I'm sure you guys know, we have a lot of firsts in our relationship. We wanted to come on here and share with you guys our first time meeting, our first kiss, all types of different firsts, if you know what I mean. Do you really want to know this? Are we really gonna share this with the internet? Are we really putting this out there? And here we are filming this video. So I guess the answer is yes.
Yes.
We're gonna share with you our first time meeting as friends. The first time that we ever met. It was in 2020 and we met in Phoenix at a conference.
And we weren't even like interested in each other. We were just friends going to the same conference, which was super funny.
We had like been mutuals on TikTok. We knew of each other. We were friends, but this was our first time like actually meeting in person.
We ended up not doing this event because it got canceled.
Yep.
So we just spent like 3 days hanging out as friends with a bunch of other people. And we got time to know each other, and it was pretty cool as friends.
Even though I did have a little crush on him, I wasn't gonna let him know that.
She didn't even let me know. Yeah, I had no clue, so.
He also had a girlfriend. But
I
that's
did.
beside the point.
It is. All right.
Our first time meeting each other's parents also happened to be our first time meeting each other. Our moms were both there on the tour with us. And Jacob also met my dad throughout this time of him being there for the conference. It wasn't until July of 2021 that I met Jacob's dad, Jacob's sister, and Jacob's brother.
And we were dating when that happened.
We were, but that was the first time I met his family. And we had already been dating for a couple months before I actually met his entire family. Something probably a lot of people don't know is because we were actually long distance for the
8
first
months.
part of our relationship.
8 months of our relationship, we were long distance. That was super
hard.
Yeah, it was really hard, but it was 100% worth it.
It was so
If you
worth
guys
it.
are doing long distance, any of you guys dating anybody, hang in there because it's worth it for the right person.
Oh,
for
100%.
Sure.
That leads us to our next first time. Our first date was actually a month into us dating already.
Our first like legit date was a month into us dating. Our first date was probably this prom we went to together.
Even though we didn't know it was a
No,
date.
Julia invited me to her prom back in 2021, and she had no dates because her dates kept canceling on her. So then I was
Made me feel like such a
I was a
loser.
small town kid from Iowa who was like, oh yeah, I'll buy a plane ticket and I'll come to this prom with you. So I come to this prom with you, and we're going to this prom, and we end up dancing and hanging out all night, and we're like, hey, we really like each other. That was really fun. So then I confess feelings for Julia, and she's like, let me get back to you on that. Who says that? Who says that? She's like,
I didn't want to
and-
break your
and
little heart.
I'm sitting there super awkwardly and just waiting and hanging out with Julia while she's like, you know what? I don't know if I like you. And after a day, Julia finally confessed her feelings for me. And that leads us into our next first, which would be our first kiss.
You didn't have to bring, I was gonna leave this one out. Guys, our first kiss was terrible. I'm like, you know, just so excited. I've waited all this time and I've heard people say, it's so fun, this is gonna be so great. It's like 2 a.m. By the way, I told Jacob I didn't want to kiss anyone until I was actually dating them. So he
Which
waited.
makes sense, and
Right.
I have had that same policy my entire life. I
So-
would never kiss anybody if I wasn't dating them.
Right, and so we already were dating at that time. He asked me to be his girlfriend, yada, yada, yada. And we were sitting there on the couch and I was terrified, so scared. He kept being like, hey, so like, do you mind if I kiss you? And I'd be like, not yet. I'd be like, no.
I'm like, all right, that's fun.
So we're laying there like this. I'm gonna give you guys a demonstration. Like I'm like on the couch and he's like next to me like this. And no joke, you guys, he asked me again if he could kiss me and I was like, yes. I said yes. And I froze. I was like, my eyes
Here's an instant
open.
replay, ready? That is the replay of what happened. She didn't even do anything.
So embarrassing.
She just froze. And I was like,
Yeah, that was our first kiss. But hey, that's okay because he married me. Even after having that
that's right, I did.
horrible first kiss experience. So don't worry if your first kiss doesn't go great, you know, because when it's with the right person, they won't care.
That's right. Amen.
Anyways, moving on. Now we're gonna talk about our first fight. Now, our first fight, I'm sure there were like little like arguments and stuff there, but the first time that I think that Jacob ever was actually truly mad at me was when he planned this extravagant trip to come see me, and I like on the phone with him. He was trying to surprise me.
She had no clue I was coming. I was coming all the way to Arizona from Iowa to surprise her before I go back to school to my college where I'm in a dorm.
Yeah.
And I was like,
well, my friend lived in Arizona and I was going to visit her, but then I changed my mind and I wasn't gonna.
She's like, no, I'm not gonna come visit. I'm like, no, you need to go visit her. And she's like, no, I don't want to. I was like, you need to. She's like, why?
He was like, you ruined everything.
Because you need to. And she's like, no, why? Tell me. I was like, you really want me to tell you? I was like, no, I don't want to tell you. She's like, tell me.
And I go, are you going to surprise me? And he was like, yeah, so you better go. And it ended up being okay.
It was a fun trip. That was our first like mini fight because I was trying to surprise her and she's like, I actually don't feel like going.
He's like, you always gotta like ask and ruin it because I hate surprises as it is, and I definitely messed it up. So
anyways.
And we'd be lying if we said our relationship was perfect. And arguments and disagreements and bickering or whatever you want to call it is normal, and it's all about how you resolve the conflict.
And respond, yes.
Yes, and respect one another and love one another. And remember, at the end of the day, it's not about being right, it's about protecting the other person's feelings
and resolving
in their
your conflict together.
Moving right along.
You know what?
Sorry
I have one. I want to do one here really quick. I want to talk about our first time saying I love you.
So I told Jacob I loved him right after he asked me to be his girlfriend.
6 hours after. Yeah.
And he said it back.
I did, because I loved her. Aww.
I loved him too. And everyone's like, well, how did you know?
We knew.
We just knew. Like, we felt like we wouldn't have started dating if I didn't love you. Like, we were such good friends already, and we had known each other for so long, and I loved his character, and I loved everything about him. And I love him more now and in a different way now, but I truly did love him at the time. And yeah, it was a really special moment.
Memories.
Moving on. I think you're procrastinating the final question.
No, I'm not. No, you're talking about it. I'm not.
So now it's time to talk about our first time.
Yep.
It's not awkward. It shouldn't be awkward to talk about. We're being so awkward for no reason.
No.
But anyways, as most of you guys know, we waited for marriage, and so a lot of people were like, how was the first time? If you know
Everybody's
what I mean.
asking us, and I'm just not, I just don't even answer because I'm just like, that's
such a weird question.
That's just.
But that's okay. We want to let you know because if no one's ever told you, we want the Christian view of marriage. Christians don't talk about it, then you're gonna get your information from somebody who maybe isn't giving the best advice. So we want to be able to be good influences. And speaking of that, talking about our wedding night in particular, it was
a blur. Honestly, it was such a blur. The whole wedding day was such a blur. It went so fast.
It was.
And if you like are having a wedding or have had a wedding, you probably know this. You have to cherish it as much as possible because I checked my phone during a 2-second interval that I had, and the wedding was gonna be over in like 10 minutes, and I was like, what? I've eaten 2 bites of my food. Yeah. Like I didn't even understand that. And then we literally, after the wedding ended, we got in this car, our getaway car, and we drove to LA because we were flying out of LA the next day. So we got to LA at 2 a.m. Our flight, we had to leave at like 4 a.m. So we didn't sleep.
Okay, and let me preface this. There's a couple of things here. I'm spoon feeding honey to Jacob on the car ride.
Because I'm sick.
He's feeling like absolute crap after the wedding. Like he was doing good the whole wedding, and then just boom, it like hit him. He was feeling horrible. So then we get to the hotel, and he's just like not feeling good at all.
Nope.
But somehow manages to just snap out of it, I guess.
I went back to being sick real quick though.
Yeah,
I don't think it was like, oh yeah, I just wasn't sick. I think I had just forgotten about it because I was more excited.
So was waiting for marriage worth the wait?
100%. 100%. Just because of the fact, number one, God honors waiting for marriage. In fact, our first time, your first time, whatever it may be, it's something meant for marriage. Like sex is meant for marriage. God made it to be a beautiful thing to show love to one another. And so I just definitely feel like it's 100% worth waiting for marriage because God commands us to do that. And two, because you are with that person now. Like Julie and I are forever and ever and ever going to be together.
We became one.
Yes, and now we are one as a couple under the covenant of God. And we believe that honors him, and also it's special between us. Like nobody else will ever have that. Like, it's
Right.
just going to be Julia and I.
Exactly. Yeah, and so that is your encouragement. If you're waiting for marriage, keep waiting. It's so worth it. It's not worth the hurt that can come if you don't wait for marriage. But if you haven't waited for marriage, it's never too late to start. Like, God can redeem that and God can forgive that. It's just, it's such a sweet and like precious moment, and you're so excited from the wedding day and you're so exhausted, like so tired, and you're so nervous and you have no idea what's going on. It's like new and it's something exciting. But I think that your expectations definitely need to be like, how do I say this?
Don't set expectations.
Yeah, don't set these like wild and crazy expectations. Just
go
let it
into
happen.
it with
Yeah.
that other person and
Exactly.
enjoy what God has made.
But anyways, guys, we wanted to sit down and make this video just to share some of our firsts with you. And we're so glad that you guys choose to watch us.
We love you guys.
Love
Thank
you
you
guys
so
so
much for
much.
watching our first times, and we'll see you guys in the next one.
Bye.
Peace.